Darlings, fasten your seatbelts, because tonight we're cutting through royal theatre and walking straight into the throne room of truth. They're saying King Charles's disciplining of Prince Andrew is some kind of PR spectacle, a media playbook move. Really? When a king corrects his brother, that's not performance. That's power, that's prerogative, that's the crown restoring order. And yet the Spectator, and others like it, are spinning a tale that's not just wrong, it's dangerously misleading. They want you to believe Andrew's humiliation is a template for Harry's redemption. Well, not on my watch. Tonight we're unpacking why Andrew's downfall was constitutional necessity, not public theatre. And why Harry and Meghan's path could never and should never be compared to that mess. First, the facts as we know them. King Charles III, in his capacity as sovereign, holds the prerogative, the ultimate authority within the monarchy to determine rank, honours, titles, funding, engagements, and even the public role of family members. When he restricts access, cuts funds, or shifts titles, it's not primarily about media optics. It's about the integrity of the institution of the crown itself. Now, Prince Andrew, publicly embroiled in scandal, his association with Jeffrey Epstein, the FBI scrutiny, the civil litigation. The king has reportedly cut funding, relocated him from the Royal Lodge, and altered his status within the royal family. Daily Telegraph +1. These steps are not theatre. They are sober constitutional decisions. Here's the key point. When the sovereign acts, he is not playing to the cameras. He's acting to protect the institution. The monarchy cannot afford unchecked variables. A brother of the king, if left unchecked, becomes a structural risk. The king's prerogative must be exercised. So, to the article in The Spectator today, and other media narratives suggesting that Andrew left model for Harry, or that the king's action is a media playbook, or a PR maneuver, they missed the forest for the trees. This isn't spin, it's sovereignty. Now, why is Andrew not a model for Harry? Let's unpick this carefully. 1. Nature of the issues. Andrew's issues are not about stepping back from duties voluntarily and seeking a new path. They are about personal conduct, scandal, legal liability, and reputational damage to the crown. Harry's situation? A voluntary decision with complex dynamics, stepping away, public perception, legal battles, mental health considerations, broader questions of race, duty, modernization. 2. Response of the institution. With Andrew, the institution responded via internal discipline, fund cuts, titles, relocation, withdrawals of royal patronages. Harry's response? A public negotiation, media contract deals, relocation, legal actions, and, yes, friction with the establishment. The king's prerogative applies differently to each scenario. 3. Lessons and models. To say Andrew is a model for Harry implies emulate Andrew's path, absorb his fate. But Andrew's path led to marginalization, loss of role, heavy reputational cost. That's not an aspirational model. It's a cautionary tale. So when you see pundits or articles drawing parallels, king discipline, Harry must fall in line like Andrew did. They're using Andrew as a straw man. Wrong model. Danger zone for Harry, not blueprint. Some argue Harry should be treated like Andrew, but this is a false equivalence. Stripping Harry of his titles as Andrew was disciplined isn't justice, it's retribution. Andrew's discipline was about protecting the crown from scandal. Harry's offences are speaking out and choosing a new life. Punishing dissent like scandal would turn the monarchy into a vindictive institution. This narrative only inflames tensions and serves the media's appetite for conflict. Royal discipline is meant to protect the institution, not punish those who leave. Applying Andrew's remedy to Harry would damage the monarchy's reputation, making it seem petty and unforgiving. The Andrew precedent was a specific solution to a specific crisis. Using it as a one-size-fits-all tool is folly. The monarchy must distinguish between scandal and self-determined departure. Let's talk why the king's action is legitimate and why the media framing is problematic. Legitimacy. The monarchy isn't a corporate brand where you just spin any narrative. It is centuries of constitutional tradition. The sovereign's job includes being guardian of the crown's reputation. When a brother acts in a way that threatens that reputation, the king must act. It's in the royal prerogative. So when Andrew loses funding or is relocated from Royal Lodge, that's governance, not theatre. Media framing issue. Media outlets often frame such stories as royal soap opera, power play in the palace, character assassination. They cast the king as the villain or PR wizard. They downplay the constitutional angle. That's the disgrace, because it reduces serious structural governance to entertainment. Why this matters for Harry and Meghan? If narrative suggests the king disciplined Andrew purely for optics, then similar logic could be applied to Harry. King will discipline you next for media trouble. But that ignores the different contexts. And it also serves the agenda of those who want to weaponize Andrew's fall to shame Harry and Meghan. We must expose that playbook. Sovereign's prerogative versus media playbook. The sovereign acts when required, not when cameras demand spectacle. Media plays demand drama. They demand narrative. They twist discipline into puppet theatre. Our job? To differentiate the two, and to call out articles that conflated the sovereign's duty with superficial showmanship. Now let's examine how Andrew's situation has been presented, and how that reflects a distorted narrative useful to detractors of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Presentation. Tabloids and commentators often highlight Andrew humiliated, funding cut, living in exile, living off private wealth. They paint it as spectacle of royal fall. Meanwhile, they point to Harry. See what happened to Andrew? You're next. That framing is dangerous and misleading. Distortion. They fail to mention Andrew remains a prince, retains some status. The king's actions were measured. The institutions have legal constitutional underpinning for those actions. They skip context. They spin it as falling down public failure rather than structural necessity. For Meghan and Harry, this narrative serves a broader campaign. If you rebel, you'll be treated like Andrew. It's fear-mongering. It's about control of the monarchy's story. It doesn't allow nuance. Harry's choices, Meghan's voice, their reasons for stepping back. Instead, it uses Andrew as scapegoat. Our mission? Expose that this is not about Andrew being a blueprint. It's about how media uses his case as weapon. We call that out. So let's pull this together. The truth is, the king's action over Andrew was governance, not a photo op. Andrew's situation does not equate to Harry's path, and to treat it as such is disingenuous. Media narratives that blur the line between the sovereign's constitutional duty and spectacle are dangerous, because they mislead, they weaponize, they diminish nuance. Harry and Meghan are not on the Andrew model trajectory unless they allow themselves to be. To say they should be treated in the same way is to rob them of their agency and to empower a narrative that wants them silenced. And yes, this stings, because the media that should hold power to account is often complicit in amplifying it. Our role, my role, is to strip away the glitter, reveal the machinery behind the story, and free the truth. So, to my darlings, watch how the narrative is framed. Ask, who benefits when Andrew is used as precedent? Who loses when nuance is stripped? And remember, discipline within the Crown happens for institutional reasons, not because the cameras demand a show. If we understand that, we stop being pawns. We become watchers, critics, truth-seekers. Thank you for staying with me. If you found this eye-opening, hit the like button, subscribe, share with someone who needs the perspective. Because the more we talk, the less the media can spin in silence. Join me next time as we continue to challenge the narratives, defend the truth, and stand by Meghan and Harry. Not because they're perfect, but because the system against them often isn't. Until then, stay focused, stay fierce. Goodbye, darlings.